If you grew up around Austin, there's just certain quirky things you grew up seeing, and that's kind of what Austin was always about. We have to hold on to the few quirks we have left.
I would think that Vince is one of the few lost relics of Austin.
I heard about him probably as early as like high school. It was kind of like a cult following for a while, and a lot of people would be like, oh, have you been to the Cathedral of Junk?
I like the cathedral most because of Vince. Like, Vince's makes the place.
People want to get married here. They do their engagement things here. Do I consider myself a local legend? I don't know what that legend means exactly, but I'm a local character. Good boys.
I know. All right. Oh.
Some people never make it past the dogs. What time is it? Oh, 9:01. I better grab my phone. Because it's time to start answering the phone. And it begins.
Hello? Yeah, what time did you want to come by?
Well, my name is Vincent Hanneman, and I'm the creator of the Cathedral of Junk, which is a sculpture I've been working on for the last 31 years in my backyard and has become rather famous, I guess. Title-wise, well, I mean, nobody calls me the Junk King, but Vince, Vinny. It's a building, not like a normal building exactly. It's 3 stories tall. It's got various different staircases that lead up to the 2nd and 3rd floor. It's all built out of stuff that's junk. This is my pot plant. I don't know. Do you grow pot? No, probably not. You know, sometimes I think I know where things are going to go, and then they don't want to go there. They do have a mind of their own. It's generally put together just by puzzling. Grab something like that. Oh, see, that's cool. And then it just kind of puzzles in like that. Simple as that. People bring me this stuff quicker than I can get around to using it. I even get stuff in the mail. You know what I call it when it comes in the mail, right? Junk mail. But it's true. I started with a little series of individual sculptures, which grew together, and then people started asking me, what do you call that? I honestly didn't know what to tell them. My mother started calling it the Cathedral of Junk, you know, kind of only a mom's sarcasm. But that stuck like glue, and it kind of got a life of its own. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. How are you guys? Did you guys call? Hello, this is Vince. I am by appointment if you had an idea what time. Great, see you around 3. The only way to come here is to actually get through to me on the telephone and make an appointment. People do get lucky and get the golden ticket just showing up. It does happen, but you have to be lucky and you can't count on that. These are people that are just showing up here. There's always unannounced people. I hate to be horrible, but seriously, like in front of my house. Yeah, you can block my driveway. That's okay. So there's not a website or anything like that, but I'm listed on a bazillion websites. You know, if there's a new platform out there, they put me on it, you know. I don't think I've ever seen anything TikTok-y, whatever the hell, but I know I'm on it.
I've never gotten to go because if you call and he doesn't answer, then you can't come. And so every time I've tried, he doesn't answer. So we just called randomly this morning and got lucky. I would think that Vince is one of the few lost relics of Austin. Hopefully everything will be preserved here and now because all of these things is what like adds to Austin's charm.
Those are 2 of the original sculptures and part of a domed room that used to be over here. But because of what I had to tear down when I got my building permit, that kind of got all shoved away. And then 2010, my neighbor complained. I mean, to be fair to him, you know, I wasn't the best neighbor to have. We did have a lot of crazy wild parties, and I was completely unapologetic about it. And that's what got the ball rolling. And it turns out that I did have an unpermitted auxiliary structure. So it took 7 months to get through that process. The whole time I was non-compliant, actually, I had no property rights even. I couldn't rent, sell, lease, or give away this house. They put a red sign on the front curb that said, dangerous conditions exist. I had hundreds of volunteers came out of the woodwork to help me out, tearing down the stuff, which was also therapeutic in a way. It was horrible, but I learned how incredibly strong this thing is. It's a miracle. I got the engineer to sign off on it. I got the architect to do the drawing. Everything's all squared away. But who the heck knows? You know, you never expect the Spanish Inquisition. Generally, it's a self-guided tour. I don't really follow people around. I get a lot of cheap hipsters here who bring their girlfriends here for their date, you know? So their love life is just like rocking around here, but mine sucks. It's not a place to really meet anybody. Both my wives divorced me, so there have been junk cleans for sure. There might be a third, who knows? This is a difficult domestic kind of situation to live in for somebody. There's no privacy here because there's never a single day that I don't have people show up unannounced. Christmas Day, New Year's Day, every day. Last year, I had a family of 5 in my driveway at dawn on Christmas Day, taking pictures. And it's like, who's the crazy one here, Who's the weird one? This is my tire iron here. I got 2 tire irons. Get it? I gotta crack myself up. Sorry. Some people comment how peaceful it is here. In a way, it is kind of a church.
We got married at the Cathedral of Junk. So I was able to find his phone number through a shady Yelp review and just ask flat out, would it be possible to have a wedding at your art piece? And he said, it is possible.
He said, are you sure though?
He made sure to say, are you sure you want to get married here?
Yeah.
Vince was a part of our wedding party. He stood next to his campfire, stoked it occasionally while we were doing our vows. I have a distinct memory. We walked my 65-year-old mother up to the top of the cathedral and she just had a moment of pure elation and tears. Absolutely a local Austin legend. I don't think anyone else could have gotten away with what he did.
Keeping Austin weird is very important.
And Vince has done a lot to keep Austin weird.
And then there's pictures in the shed here, kind of a timeline how I got started. This is a picture of me in 1979 with one of my first backyard sculptures in Santa Fe, New Mexico. When I moved here in 1989, there was nothing in the backyard. It was just a big lawn and the oak tree out back. When I first came to Austin, it was a little bit of a bust. The economy was a little bit downturned. That's one of the things that allowed me to do this was incredibly cheap rent. But all that's changed over time. They say keep Austin weird, right? Or live music capital of the world or something. Both those things, the weird and the music, are having a very hard time keeping up with the growth. You can't have weird and musicians and art and not have affordable housing.
My family's been in town since the late 40s. You grew up around Austin, there's just certain quirky things you grew up seeing. And that's kind of what Austin was always about. Austin was every weird misfit and strange person that was in the high school class that didn't really fit in. But the problem is, as more people pour in, they got to live somewhere. And so a lot of them ended up slowly migrating down to South Austin. And that's when all of a sudden South Congress became SoCo, which none of us locals ever called it, ever. South Austin is just slowly kind of watering down. We have to hold on to the few quirks we have left, I mean, eventually everything's going to be your standard issue strip center. To have a break from that and have something that's a little different and something you're not going to find necessarily everywhere, it's what makes a city unique.
After I got divorced for the second time, I was like really down on this whole thing. She didn't like all the people coming over here. She didn't like me talking to people. I don't know, I'm not gonna blame it on her or whatever, but I was like, fuck this shit, I'm just gonna get the hell out of here. I just didn't even want to be in Austin anymore. So I started tearing stuff down. And people tried to stop me. They came out of the woodwork. They were like, save the cathedral. And I was like, they wanted to buy the place. I was like, you know what? I built it. I can take it down and do anything I want. It's not yours. But after about 6 months of tearing it down, I felt a lot better. Got my yayas out. And then I thought, maybe not. And I changed my mind. Then I started building it back up again. I just see how happy people are when they come over here and they tell me that they're glad that there's something like this. When I tell them that I've been doing this full time since 2008, it makes their day for some reason. Like they live vicariously through that. You're glad that they found one dodo bird still alive.
It's one of those unique places around Austin. Very unique, very eclectic, very Austin weird.
I consider Vince a local legend. I mean, we just looked it up and this was like one of the top 10 things to recommend.
It's really cool. I haven't ever seen anything like it before.
All right, thank you. It'd be cool if it was able to continue the way it is and provide what I think it does for Austin. People want to ask me, what is the meaning or why? Well, art was the first invention, right? There is a purpose to it. There has to be a purpose to it. I don't know what it is other than it might just be as simple as saying I'm here, which seems kind of shallow really, but maybe it is. The handprints on the cave wall, is that just saying I'm here? I was here? Or, wow, that's really cool. Look at my hand, man.